watching
this
live.
150 or 151?
This is 150 take
150.2.
two. Yeah,
Yeah,
let's
there you
call
go.
it take two. If any of you are catching any of it live yesterday, you would have noticed that. And honestly, listen, so we made it to today, which is
Right.
always good. Any day above the ground is a good day. But we made it on a day after one of the most exciting games in World Series history, 18 innings. Man, Mike, you said you were supposed to be on the radio and they
I
canceled it.
was. I
That's
was.
incredible.
They canceled our round trip show because they still had to do. So it was right at what? It was like 155 or
Something like that,
2:00
almost two, yeah.
local. And yeah, they decided because they still had to do the on-site post-game show, and
Oh,
then we
right.
were going to do our show round trip. But they, I didn't listen overnight, but they came up with something else. So
It's
I
crazy.
should be barring another ridiculous game tonight. I will be on MLB Network Radio post-game again
Nice.
tonight. So you can catch me there. But what an amazing game! It
Yeah.
really was. It's interesting, and this is just human nature. Everybody, especially Type A personalities that are Major League Baseball, everybody wants to be the hero, right? And when you get into extra innings, that's exactly what everybody tries to do and goes deep. And all of a sudden, they went like 7 or 8 whatever it was, shutout. The
Yeah,
whole
well, they
second game was a dueling shutout. It was pretty
right.
remarkable.
Well, because I think the
Um,
home run, Otani's home run was in the 8th, I believe, which tied the
yeah,
game, and then that was it until the
that was
until
it.
the 18th inning. They
Yeah,
went
so
10
another
innings
nine,
with no
10 innings.
runs.
Yeah,
Oof.
but yeah, what a night by Otani.
Well,
Goes
another 2
four for
homers.
4. I think the
5
only
walks.
well,
It
what
should have been
all
6.
intentional. Well,
It should.
four intentional.
Right.
One, well, inadvertent intentional. The last one they didn't pitch to him.
They should have stayed. It should have
You
been
could.
6, and then
There's
they
an
won.
argument for that, and I've actually heard. I've already heard people today complaining about that. But you
What do you do?
nobody on.
Right.
It's okay. He's not going to hit the ball out of the ballpark every single time.
Just
But
about.
yeah,
But not
so
every single time.
4 for 4, gets
Unreal.
on base a record 9 times.
9 times.
I mean, just
9
absolutely
times.
amazing. And then there was a scare one of the times he was on base. One of the intentional walks, he goes to second base and he had a cramp.
Right.
And Dave Roberts goes running out to second base and they check on him, and he stays in the game and he's fine. But the thing that's the dangerous part of all this.
Yeah.
I mean, he's on the base, running the bases and doing everything that you can. And he's today's starting pitcher.
He is.
And so
Yeah.
even if he comes
17
out,
hours later.
he comes out in that situation, he does, pull a calf or something like that. You are in big trouble, because now all of a sudden you don't have a starting pitcher for it today. So there lies the danger in having the two-way player.
It's a crazy, like, when you look at, there were so many storylines from last night's game. There was Otani getting caught stealing in a situation where they could have won. Toronto had 2 opportunities for go-aheads. One got caught at third, one thrown out at home, with some unbelievable defensive plays on
Tremendous
both sides.
defensive plays.
Both sides, just unbelievable.
Yeah, Tommy Edman didn't do anything with the bat, but he threw. He threw somebody out at third, and then threw another one out.
At home.
Yeah,
that one at home was incredible. Like, that's just like it was a laser beam. I mean, he caught him by 3 steps. It was just
Actually, Will Smith, the catcher of the Dodgers, actually went to swipe, and he was too early, and
he was early
and had to readjust.
Yeah, just
tremendous.
Unreal.
Hey, listen, we talked about it. The Toronto Blue Jays did exactly what they wanted to do, which was get the starting pitcher out early.
Right.
And they did that. And they got Tyler Glasnow. They scored a couple of runs off of him, got his pitch count up, got him out. And then, unsung heroes. I mean, Will Klein, are you kidding
Yeah,
me?
I was just
Dude,
about to say that kid who's
never thrown 4 innings before in
there's
his
72 pitches.
70, which is twice as many pitches he's ever thrown.
That's
He's never thrown more than
unbelievable.
2 innings.
What a hero.
And yeah, he's probably not going to be able to scratch his head today.
I was going to say, well, and here's the thing. The Dodgers used every one of their pitchers, every single one of them. The Blue Jays used every one of their position players.
Yep.
Like and George
and
Springer
every one of their pitchers.
Yeah,
they used all their bullpen too. Little
George
was the
Springer's
last reliever.
That's right. That's right. Springer's hurt, right? So he's hurt.
Right.
Bo Bichette probably won't play today because he's still
They're
dealing
talking
with
about
this.
maybe DHing him. He'll take over
That could
DH.
make sense. That could make sense
for Springer if
But
Springer
it's
is
like,
out. But the way
I mean,
we've seen it before, the way Springer grabbed his side,
that's not a good move.
that doesn't seem.
But there's so many
feasible.
things that happened in that game, and so many. Like I was telling you before we got on here, it's like so. My last night, my wife gets home. We have some dinner. We watch a show, just normal thing. And I'm like, I'll catch up. It's a later game, so I'm like, I'll catch up to it. I've got the Rockets on the DVR, so I'm like, I'll watch that, and then I'll kind of flip back and forth, which is what I was doing. And I got to the end of the Rockets game after watching them blow out Brooklyn. I was like, I'm gonna flip over to the World Series now. I figured it probably in 6, 7, 8 innings. It was because I DVR'd. I was a little late, so it was bottom. It was a top of the ninth.
Yeah,
5-5, and I'm like, oh hell, let's go. All right, I'm here. Let's see what happens. I made it to the middle of the 13th, and I'm like, guys, I really hate to break this to you. I know you're gonna miss me, but the kid has got to go to bed.
Got to go.
It's a school
got
night.
to go.
I was like, I can't, man. And then the funny part is I woke up this morning to let the dogs out at 4 a.m. And I was like, oh, I wonder what happened. And I flipped it on, and literally like an hour and a half earlier, the game ended.
The game was still on.
Like, oh God.
And they had hit the Dodgers had hit a couple balls that they thought were home runs.
Yes.
One of them was Teoscar late.
Yep.
He thought he got the one to center.
Who
hit the one to left center?
I can't remember.
I can't remember who hit the ball to left center, but another one right at the base of the wall. And that's the ball not flying in LA is not anything new.
No, that's
when the marine layer comes in. They were talking about how the weather had cooled off. That means the marine layer had come off the Pacific Ocean, and it makes the air really heavy, and the ball the ball just doesn't travel. But Freddie crushed that baseball. I was going to look and see what the exit velocity was, because the other ones, were good. They were 102, 103 miles an hour, something like that. And Dodger Stadium's a big ballpark anyways. I don't know. I got to look and see what Freddie's was, because Freddie.
Yeah, I'm looking right. I was just kind of pulling it up to see if they had exit velocity. I can't find it just right off the top, but
where did you go?
I just did a quick Freddie Freeman. Oh, there.
Yeah,
I did. Yeah, I just did a quick lookup, but I couldn't find. just in Google, but I couldn't find it. You can probably find it.
You're such an amateur.
I know, I'm an amateur. Hey, I don't have access to all them newfangled
everybody can get this information. It's on
Baseball
Savant.
Oh,
Baseball
Savant,
which is by Major League Baseball.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's a very in-depth website.
It is. I like Baseball Savant. I'm wearing my pitching ninja
Freddie
hat
Freeman, 107.4 miles an hour.
It's good. It's quality. What was the launch angle? Had to be like 28% or something, right?
Launch angle,
degrees.
Optimal 34%.
34.
I think 33 is like perfect.
Yeah, that's a moonshot.
Here's the crazy thing. That is a home run in 14 of 30 ballparks.
No way. Yeah. Only 14?
400.
Well,
you want
to
talk about a wall scraper? It was 406.
Wow.
Which Dodger Stadium, I think, is like 403.
Wait a minute. He hit the ball 107 at 34 degrees, and it only went 406.
Right.
Well, that's that heavy air, like you
There it
said,
is.
man.
There it
It
is.
really
Knocks
does.
it
It
down.
really does impact it. Like people
Oh, it
don't
does.
realize how
It
much
does.
it's like San Francisco has it really bad because of all the heavy fog that comes off San Francisco Bay.
Yeah.
It really does. I mean, when you think about it, the atmosphere's thick. The air is
Yeah.
thick, and when that
Yeah.
ball's trying to travel through there, it's slowing it down for sure.
Yeah,
Hey,
so what an incredible game.
and now they got to
It's
play.
going to be wonderful to see how everyone responds
Yes,
tonight.
agreed. Especially
Um,
with so little
you
time,
know,
and they got to
but
travel, right? And
one of the things one of the crazy things was the guy that pitched game 2, Yamamoto, was warming up. If it went to the 19th inning,
right.
he was pitching for the Dodgers.
That's right. That's right. I
And
saw that and I was
yeah,
thinking, wow, that's he volunteered
he
apparently.
volunteered. He did. He did. They talked about it on the broadcast that you saw they showed, I think in the 18th, they showed the interpreter, which they have 3 Japanese players. So he's an interpreter
Right.
for everyone. So everyone thought it was Otani.
Right.
Otani had sent him over, but no, it was Yamamoto and said, "Hey, I guess this is probably his side day or was his side day. No, he
I think
probably
that's
already
probably right.
threw it. He probably
That's
already
probably
threw the
right.
side, but he was hot. He was ready to go. But I mean, that just shows you. I mean, how do you not love a guy that can throw a CG and then turn around 2 days later? I'm gonna come in relief just because we've completely run out of pitching.
Right. Now the key for them is Blue Jays got to try to get they've just got to try to get a win in the next 2 games
Right.
to
Right.
get
Well, that
themselves
was the
back to
whole
Toronto.
that was their whole approach. Yeah, you're trying to win every single solitary game, but you have to you know,
Just get it back to
yes,
Toronto.
you have to win one of the 3 to get back to your home field. So,
Get it back to YYZ, which is
yeah.
the airport designation in Toronto for those of you who don't know.
There
Also
you
for those of
go.
you who are not Rush fans, because that is one of their songs. And I look, the thing that's exciting to me about this, and I'm no Dodgers fan, obviously, but I will say this. I am a fan of baseball. I am a fan of great players. I've always been a fan of that people are always like, don't you like the guys that like hustle? And I'm like, sure. But do I like the guys that can do stuff that I cannot never do? Yeah.
Right.
Those are the guys I like. And
Or
so,
when you're talking about Otani, anybody else can do it.
right. Or anybody human. Yeah, exactly. So watching Otani play is magic. Freddie Freeman is absolutely somebody you want to root for,
Crazy how good a hitter he is.
regardless of who you are. On the other side, Vlad Guerrero Jr. is just a beast and just incredible to watch. Springer, obviously, because of his ties to the Astros and whatever. And honestly, I love seeing the Toronto fan base excited for them because this is such a big deal for them. I did appreciate the fact that even into the later innings last night, Dodgers fans were still there. Now
Sure.
that is not a normal LA trait, right? LA are
I
later
think they've gotten
rivals.
better at it. They've gotten now back when I started in the 90s, yeah, they were, their stadium attendance was from the 3rd to the 7th.
Right,
They'd
exactly. That's
leave
exactly.
after they would leave early, get there
They'd have
late. But this is
that's
a
right.
World Series game.
They go
So,
to cocktails,
but
then
they
they'd
have
leave for
yeah,
after party.
yeah, that's
That's
right. That's
exactly
right.
it. Yeah,
Yeah,
but you're right.
you're in LA, you got 19 things to do every day.
I remember seeing like Glenn Powell in like in the 13th or something, like bouncing around in the crowd. Like
Right.
it's pretty impressive that they're able to stay on. I don't want them to win, but it was very impressive. I want to ask your opinion about this because I do think it is. We talked about this a little bit in our boarded session yesterday, but you know, the Dodgers are a little hard for the average fan to root for because they do spend so much money, right?
Sure.
Now, not every wealthy team got in. Toronto spends quite a bit of money. The Yankees certainly do. The Red Sox do. There are teams that the Astros were in the top 6, I think, this year.
Mhm.
But they and the Mets didn't make the postseason, and they didn't. Seattle doesn't spend a boatload, although they did spend well this year. The Brewers certainly don't spend a boatload. But as a fan, as a person who loves to watch the game, when the Dodgers are playing, when Shohei Ohtani is playing, I just don't care. I don't care that
Right.
he makes $1 trillion or whatever the hell it is. Like
Yeah.
when I watch him play, I'm like, yeah, but have you watched him play? Like
Yeah.
it's like with watching Michael Jordan or Tiger Woods or who cares at that point?
Well, I mean, if you want to know, I mean, how can you not like Shohei? Yes, he
Mhm.
signed the $700 million contract, but he's not making that money.
No.
He's not making that money all the way through the 10 years of the contract.
Right.
He had, and this was his idea to
Mm-hmm.
limit his yearly salary to $2 million. That's all
Right.
he's getting paid. It's not, $2 million, still $2 million,
Yeah.
but
And all
he's
this
not getting paid $70 million. Now,
right.
there's
His
other
endorsement
reasons.
deals and all this other
Yeah,
stuff.
the
He's
the
making
rumor
plenty.
was, I think it was the last year or the year before, he made $90 million
Oh yeah.
in endorsements.
Oh
So
yeah. He's
it's
crushing
not like
that. Don't
he's
worry.
he's
He's
hurting.
not the little sisters of the
But
poor.
I mean, he wants to win,
Yeah.
and he knows that if he takes $70 million, that is going to put a big financial burden on the team, and they're not going to be able to put a team as good of a team around him. So he said, "That's fine. For the 10 years, I'll make $20 million over 10 years, and then in year 11, yeah, you'll start paying me."
I know people get frustrated by all that money thing too. And I mean, listen, I understand, but it's
Mhm.
not like the Astros aren't spending money. And the bigger thing for me is
Well,
that
yeah, go ahead.
when they're playing, like I just I think part of me just loses all interest in that the minute they start playing. The minute
Yeah,
they're on the floor, on the field, wherever they are in sports, I just don't care anymore about the money that's being spent. I
yeah.
don't care that one guy's making a boatload of money. At that point, it all sort of disappears for me, and that's what sort of the magic of the sport is.
Right. Well, and the thing is, spending a boatload of money is not an equation for winning. It's not an absolute.
Right.
You still have to. I mean, how many times does the highest payroll in baseball win the World Series?
Well, in this case, it
Doesn't
might
happen
be.
very often.
This case, it might happen. It did happen
Maybe.
last year.
But listen, Toronto, they played 18 innings last night. Now,
Right.
you're
No.
right. Toronto is not like a small market,
No, I think they're
budget
seventh
team.
in payroll. I want to say.
They've spent quite a bit of money. They just gave Vladimir Guerrero $500 million earlier this year. So,
Right. Exactly.
it's it's apples to apples, but you still have to go out and perform. You still have to put up with injuries. You still, I mean,
Right.
and then the
Toronto was
highest
just FYI. Toronto was fifth this year,
yeah.
and
So they spent money. It's not like the
50
this
million
was
less than the Dodgers, but still they spent
right,
money.
right. And I know we've got contract negotiations for the CBA, collective bargaining agreement, coming up. I guess
Ooh,
after
next
year.
year, yeah, it's gonna be
Um,
brutal.
yeah, and that's a big part of it. But why are the Dodgers able to do this? Well, the reason the Dodgers are able to do it is because of Shohei Ohtani, not because
Mhm.
of the player on the field. Because he made that deal. Now they still get hit extremely hard with the luxury tax because
Right.
they don't get to push that back.
Right.
So they still pay for the $70 million and the luxury
Mhm.
tax because it's the AAV, the average annual
Right.
value. But it was my granddaughter just walked in. Hi, Charlie.
Hi, Charlie.
Yeah, so they still get hit very, very hard. But I mean, that has everything. That has a lot to do with the way the Dodgers have been able to spend money because, well, Shohei
Right.
has made it so they don't have to spend money,
Right. Well, I will
or they
also
can
say,
spend more money somewhere else.
right. I mean, listen, the money thing is what it is. I mean, the big market teams will spend more money because they have more money. That's just the bottom
Right.
line. The Dodgers, the Yankees, the Red Sox. Listen, Toronto's is a huge city as well. The fact that you look, it's the Mets, the Braves. I mean, San Diego is kind of the weird outlier in there, but Philadelphia, Boston, the Cubs, the Yankees, the Astros, the Rangers, San Francisco, LA, the Angels. These are all big market teams.
Yeah.
If you look at the bottom of Major League Baseball, it's Miami, which shouldn't be probably, Baltimore, Pittsburgh, Cleveland, Minnesota, Cincinnati, Tampa Bay. Those are all teams you would expect to not
Yeah.
be able to spend a lot of money. They
Well,
don't
and
have
here's
it.
the thing. There is no poor owner.
That's for damn sure.
And this is something Players Association and the players side has been
Yes.
saying forever. You're going to spend as much money as you want to spend. And
That's
there are
right.
teams out there that run baseball like a business. And
Yes.
it's all, debits and credits. And,
Sure.
you do it that way. I mean, after the movie, I think it was after the movie Angels in the Outfield, Disney bought the Angels. Well, they
Right.
thought that would be pretty cool. Well, they didn't own the Angels for very long because they figured out that you can't run baseball team like you can just any other team or
No.
any other industry. You have to spend money
Yep.
at least some money in order to make money in
Right.
baseball. And it did. I don't know. I think it was a few years they were involved
I
with the
remember
union,
that. I will say
but
this too.
yeah.
I've always been on the player side in this situation
Mhm.
because whenever people argue about money from players, I'm like, oh, it's millionaires. I'm like, yeah, they're fighting billionaires. Like there
Right.
is a difference. It's not. It's okay.
And
Maybe
they're
it's
and they're the ones that out there are putting it on the line. The
right, and
billionaires are not.
maybe it's not David Goliath exactly, but it's
Right.
still. I mean, listen. The one that always gets me is and here's what I always compare it to when it comes to the salary cap. Like the two extremes are Major League Baseball, which has nothing essentially, a luxury tax, which is whatever. And then on the other side, you have the NFL, which is like you can cut anybody anytime. It doesn't matter.
Right.
There's very
And
few.
that's because of the strike in the 80s, I
Right.
think,
Yeah.
when
And
they
the thing
actually
is,
broke the union.
and the NFL, it's brutal. The average life expectancy, and I say that, not actual life and death,
Yeah.
but the actual
Career
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 expectancy
expense, yeah.
expectancy of an NFL player is like 3 years,
Right.
right? And
Well,
granted,
and
it's a
then
violent sport, but
go and
nevertheless,
find now I'm moving around like I'm a little older than I really am. I got a little back problem going on right now,
I
but
feel you.
go find go find an NFL player that's in his 40s that doesn't, have
Mhm.
scars. And I mean, that's a brutal
It
sport.
is.
Um,
It feels like out of all of them, the NBA probably has it closest to being right, just simply because they split their revenue with the players. They have a
right.
percentage of revenue, and that seems like sort of the fairest way to deal. Now, the big difference is that there are a lot fewer players in the NBA, which makes it a lot
Yes.
easier to share that revenue and everybody to make a
And
lot of money.
I don't think the NBA makes money either. I think the NBA is I think at best they kind of push, they
Well,
kind of
with the new TV agreements, they're going to
Mhm.
make they're making a boatload of
Will they?
money.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, they're going to make a boatload of money. The thing is, the NBA doesn't have as many expenses, and that's why it gets away with it. For
Sure.
they don't have to fill up as big a stadium.
Well, I mean, what is there? They carry what, 11
Fifty
players?
15
15 players?
players, and
15?
plus they pay guys that are in their minor league development system, which is not a lot. The truth is, for the NBA, they're smaller arenas, so they don't have to fill them as much.
Right.
Most of the owners own either don't own the arenas, but certainly control the arenas, so they get all the
Mhm.
money from concerts. Like multi-use venues like the Toyota Center are the bread and butter of NBA and NHL owners
Sure.
because they can fill them 300 nights a year,
Right.
right? Even when there's
Right.
nothing else going on. And so it makes the financials in the NBA a little bit easier. It's a lot tougher when you have a lot more players. And in baseball, when you have a whole multi-tiered organization that you have to deal with, plus a ballpark that's only going to be full for your games.
And you only play and you only and you play so many games.
Yeah,
There's
that's
such
it.
a the day-to-day expense is large, but
Yeah.
you're also talking about somewhere between 11 and 12 billion-dollar industry. So,
It's so crazy too, and I understand it. Not to I don't want to go off on this tangent because it's not baseball and specifically related, but with the whole gambling scandal that's
ooh,
wreaking havoc on the NBA right now. Um, you look at this and it's like all of these sports leagues have gotten into bed with gambling. They did it because there's just so much money in it. And this was and remember, just 10 years ago, even teams wouldn't let players speak or get involved in conventions for fantasy sports because they
right.
felt like that was too closely
It
aligned.
was still gambling. Yeah.
And now, like, you know, whatever. I mean, Bet Online and DraftKings and FanDuel
Well,
and all these.
it's to tell you the truth, you have to go one step further, and we're going down a rabbit hole here.
Mhm.
You have to go one step further. Is that there are so many states that have legalized it,
Well, that was
and
in
there
2008,
yeah, there lies the real
right?
underlying, because listen, if that was never then
Well,
you know
the Supreme Court allowed sports betting to happen in all these
yeah
sports where they had sued, and that opened the floodgates for everybody. And you just, I mean, I get it. You can't turn down a bunch, billions and billions of dollars. But listen, teams would never even go near Las Vegas. Now there's multiple teams in Las
Right.
Vegas. It's like
Right.
it's
Well, and
so
that's
I
that was the reason why. I mean, it's not that Vegas
yeah.
doesn't have the money.
No, of
Absolutely,
course
they
it
got the
does.
money, but it was going to be in too close proximity to the legalized gambling.
Yeah, all the
And
sports books,
that's
man.
right.
It's
That's right.
crazy. I look, money is always a complicating factor in sports, but like going back to my point again, as a fan, when I'm watching a game, I just don't care. I don't care about how much money somebody's being paid or how much money somebody's not being paid. At
Yeah.
that point, I just want to, the performance is all that matters. And listen, let the owners and players deal with the money. That's up to them. Whatever they want to spend. I'm not going to get my knickers in a twist over somebody else making a whole bunch more money. And listen, if I was mad every day because people made more money than me, I would be a miserable
Mm.
a-hole. And I'm not going to be that. Let's talk for
Right.
a minute, just quickly about
Tonight's game. Yeah.
about tonight's game and how. Look, have you ever played? Let me ask you this: have you ever been in a situation like this where you were involved in like a really long game and then you had to play immediately again? Is there
Sure.
anything what is that like for a player?
To tell you the truth, it's a much bigger deal to the yahoos like you and me talking about it.
Hmm.
These guys are used to playing every day. Now, yes, they did play a doubleheader yesterday,
Right.
playing 18 innings, but it happens all the time. And they were talking on the broadcast about how much of a devastating loss this was going to be for someone. Because
Right.
you didn't know who was going to win, and Freddie hits the home run to end it. But you put it behind you. You deal with this stuff all the time. Now, are there going to
Mhm.
be aches and pains? Yes, but the other side, the
My
other
dog.
side of it is, that's not mine. I got great
No,
dogs.
that's mine. My dog Jackson, come here, man. My dog is
But you
grumpy.
you you look at what you have to do. You just put it behind you and you move on.
Yeah. How tired are these guys going to I mean, listen, you talk about it every day. Like one of the things I wonder is just the fatigue of playing that long, having to just get as much sleep as you can
Yeah.
and turn it right back around. That's got to be
There's
hard.
fatigue, but there's also the other side of that you're playing in the World Series and
Adrenaline.
everyone is dealing with pure adrenaline.
Yeah.
And that's really, we talked about Will Klein. That's what he did. How he was able to do that was, he was pitching in the World Series.
Right.
Um,
Like you said, the guy can't even scratch his head today.
right, right. Well, you know what? Actually, he probably can, and I wouldn't be surprised, seeing how he reacted, that he may even be active today. He's not going to
Well,
pitch. It would take probably another 18 innings to get him in there. But, I know I used to, I was an everyday Eddie. I pitched all the time. I threw all the time. Most of the time, even if I didn't get in the game, I had warmed up in the bullpen. And you deal with it.
right.
Your job, my job was to pitch, and I came to the ballpark every day, regardless of what I did the day before, expecting to play. And that was just my approach. And you do the same thing in the World Series. I mean, listen, you've got 4 games left, maximum of 4 games left in the whole season.
Right.
So you bite the bullet, and the way it works is some days you got your great stuff, some days you don't. You still have a
Right.
job to do, and you have to go out there and figure it out.
So the question really is the biggest question to me is pitching. Um, how do they sort out the relief pitching situation after that? Because there in those situations, it's not just a question of, oh, we got to be careful with this guy or whatever. It's also a
Yeah.
question of, can he actually throw, and is it going to make it worse for you for him to be out there?
Well, I mean, that's really up to the individual pitcher. It's not up to
Right.
the team, because if, I know with Joe Torre, if he would tell us, he said, "Hey, listen, if we ask if you can go and you say yes, then I very well probably going to use you." Okay. So
Right.
if you can't go, you have some self-awareness here. If you can't go, then you better tell me. Actually, he used to tell us, myself and Jeff Nelson, he said, "Listen, if you can't go, don't go to the bullpen. Don't put your spikes on, because if you do, I'll probably still use you." So just don't even go down there. Don't even be
Wow.
part of the bullpen. But And he was only half joking. He was half serious, but he was half joking too. But
Right.
it's one of those things. Now, if you look at most of the relievers, and this is one of the things that I was surprised that Smoltz didn't bring up last night in the broadcast, is you just buried your pitching staff in day one of a 3-game series.
Right.
So they're playing 3 games in a row.
Yeah.
So, who's in better shape right now? Well, to tell you the truth, it may be the Toronto Blue Jays.
I think so too.
Because you have Shane Bieber on the mound. He can
Right.
give you, 100, 100 plus pitches. He could probably go even further.
Right.
But he's not a high velocity, high effort guy like Shohei is. And
Right.
Shohei, as great as he was, in that decisive game 4
Right.
in the NLCS that won him the LCS MVP, he only went 6 innings. There were still 9 outs that had to be covered there. So,
That's right.
This is going to be the fascinating thing. If you go back and you look at, how much each reliever on both team pitched, once they got deep into the extra innings, you started extending guys,
but not early.
Not early. You were using guys an inning. You're using guys, maybe 2 innings, and then you check on the pitch count. So I think both teams are going to have relievers. They're just not going to have real deep pens, and we'll have to see how far Shohei can go.
It's going to be really fascinating to watch. Hopefully it's not another 18 innings because I can't make it. I can't do it. I'm not going to make it, guys. I'm just telling you. And I know that they're all worried about whether
it was also, especially the first 9 innings, it was a slow.
Oh, it was.
It was a slow 9 innings.
And listen, man, I know that
I think they played over 6 hours.
I know Major League Baseball is very concerned about Jeff Balke's World Series TV watching habits. And thank you for being concerned, Major League Baseball, Rob Manfred et al. But I think that I would not be surprised if it's kind of a low scoring affair tonight too. Just simply because, listen, they swung the bat a lot. There's a lot of guys played in the field. The thing that I think is gonna be a big deal is, can Toronto manufacture runs the way they attempted to last night, but weren't able to? Like, they were close in on a few occasions. We talked about it. If they can find a way to manufacture a run, 2 runs, that might be the difference. They just have to be able to do it without getting thrown out.
Right. Well, how many times in a game 4 of a World Series do you get 2 former Cy Youngs pitching against each other? So,
no
you
doubt
got that. So you're not talking about 2, 4 guys, the 4th guy in your rotation. These are still 2 very, very good pitchers.
And by the way, another just crazy thing about, both Clayton Kershaw and the reliever who's going to retire, who can't see. For them to play in the same game on the same team, the Dodgers, with Kershaw and what's his name? The relief pitcher who's, come on, man. Why am I blanking? The lefty. I can't believe it. I'm totally blanking out now.
Give me a second.
Yeah. Not Will Klein.
Box score.
There we go.
Dodgers. Blake. You said
it was, what's his name? Oh, come on. Where's my pitching?
You said it's a lefty?
Yeah.
For the Dodgers.
Yes. Why am I?
Dryer, Sasaki, Sheehan, those are young. Kershaw.
Well, Kershaw was the one, but it was Kershaw and what? The starter.
Glasnow was the starter.
I just saw a story about this today. I can't believe I was reading a story in Athletic and they were talking about
okay, so who pitched last night? Glasnow, Banda, Woblensky, Trinan, Dryer, Sasaki, Sheehan, Kershaw.
Listen to that
and Henriquez and Klein.
Listen to that list. Are you kidding? Who pitched for Toronto? Give me the rundown on that one. So I'm done. That sounds like, by the way, it sounded like a law firm.
Right. Toronto, Scherzer.
Oh, that's it. That's it. Scherzer and Kershaw pitching in the same game. That's on the other side. That's what I'm trying to say. Scherzer and Kershaw pitching in the.
You got me with the Dodgers.
That's it. It fooled me too.
And both first ballot Hall of Famers. Both,
Yes,
I mean,
100%.
and to tell you the truth, Kershaw, he threw some bad sliders.
He got
He
away.
got away with
I
a
don't know,
couple
like
really
it, this
bad
that's
pitches.
and that is a perfect example of why baseball is so difficult.
Yeah.
Is there were some, I mean, there are guys that groove a fastball
Well, it
and
happens
they
all the
still,
time.
and
It
you just
happens
and
all
nobody
the
hits
time.
it.
Yeah,
It's
you
just
throw the ball right down the middle, and it gets popped up, it gets swung, it gets taken, whatever. I mean, it happens
it
all
happens
the
in
time. But
batting
as a
practice.
pitcher, the only thing you remember are the ones that get hit. Oh my gosh, I
Right.
made a mistake. Yeah, you made 7 mistakes in that at bat prior to that, and the guy missed it. So,
I bet there were a lot of those moments for you, like, oh man, how did he
oh
get?
yeah.
How did I've got to believe when you're out there and you know that you just grooved one and got away with it. It's like,
Mhm.
all
To tell
right.
you the truth, you don't remember it.
No, is that
You
true?
don't
Oh,
remember it.
fascinating.
You know, you throw a ball down the middle, and the guy puts a good hack on it and pops it up. You know, it's a
He's
strike.
gotta
You don't
let it go,
remember.
move on.
Yeah.
All I can say, last word is, it's unfortunate we're having this long conversation, the Astros do not factor into it. That is the real
Hey,
bummer
there's
of the.
plenty of Astro representation, though.
Oh, well, no doubt about
You
it.
got
Hey, I
Kike
saw I
Hernandez,
saw
you got
Miles Straw up there multiple times last night.
Teoscar. A lot of people
Teoscar
don't remember that
Hernandez, George
Teoscar
Springer.
started. Yeah,
I
so
mean, yeah, there's a
there's plenty
lot.
of
No, there's no doubt there's a bunch of, there's a bunch of cheating Astros representing both of these World Series teams. All right. Well, thanks everybody for joining us. We'll be back next week, hopefully, to chat about maybe some off-season. It's getting ready to be. Listen, we're finally getting a cold front, so we can legitimately say
That's right.
hot stove season, because we don't need a hot stove currently. But tomorrow we might actually
We
have a
could.
fire
We
going.
may maybe have start a fire in the fireplace, or
My
actually
wife, my wife and I refer to
get
this
these
as.
stinky. You know, nobody's turned down their heat yet.
Right. It burns off all that dust.
That's
It's
right.
like my wife and I refer to this as lodge season because we'll light a fire and
That's right.
it's
That's
like
right.
it feels like a lodge even though it's 70 degrees outside.
That's right.
All right, thanks everybody for joining us. We will talk to you soon. As always, go Astros.
Adios.